Look out, boxing fans, your boy Ash. Want to do a little brief video on Gary Russell Jr., prospect on the cusp of challenging for a world title. He's actually a bright spot in the featherweight division. There's a lot of talent in that division still, and they're moving him, I think, at a real steady pace. First of all, he's a southpaw with possibly the fastest hands I've seen since Meldrick Taylor. I'm not trying to make any comparisons as far as skill sets or whatnot, but he's pretty good. I mean, he mixes his punches up, throws them combination, leads with the jab, head and body like a true professional. He doesn't put a lot on every punch, mainly his contact punches, scoring punches. But when he needs to sit down, he shows he has the ability to sit down on the punches, especially what he showed last night. Basically, he was just doing what he wanted to do, using the ring. He wasn't running. He doesn't run from the opponent. He stands right in front of him with the southpaw stance, looking for his openings. He's a very good counter puncher, but he can also dictate the action. That's what we want to see out of our young fighters in today's game. Guys like that don't make for boring fights because he's always looking to press the action. And at times where he's looking to capitalize on his opponent's mistakes, he does that very well too. In the fight last night against Castaneda, he mixed them up very well. He was countering off of Castaneda's jab, always looking for openings. He had very good shots to the body, whether he was countering to the body or just taking the shots that were given to him. And I think he looked really well. And when it was time to put the guy away, he did it in impressive fashion with a counter right hook. Castaneda didn't see it, got caught with his chin in the air. Good night, Irene. It was all over with. I think they're moving him at a good pace. I mean, I've heard people say they need to go ahead and put him in there with one of the world champions or whatnot at that weight. I don't think that would necessarily be a mistake because he has shown he's ready to move the competition level up. There's not a whole lot more seasoning that he needs before he fights for a world title, but in my opinion, I think he still needs rounds. He's only went towards the he's only fought 8 rounds. I mean, he's fought in a 10-round fight before, but he's never been past round 8. And I think he may need a little championship experience, not necessarily championship experience against a guy who is a world champion, but I think he needs to know what it's like to fight in the championship rounds, which is in a 12-round fight, 10, 11, 12. Those are championship rounds. But some people may think, well, what do you mean by that, Ash? If he's not going to fight a world title for a world title, how is he going to get championship rounds? He can fight one of the minor titles. If it's a championship fight, it qualifies for a 12-round fight. So no belts are meaningless, but in this particular instance, it will give him the rounds that he needs to see if he can go a full 12 rounds in a professional prize fight, which he hasn't done before. And I think after that, he'll be ready to step up the competition, maybe take on a guy like Monroe King, who he fought 3 times in an amateur, lost to him once, beat him twice. You got Daud Yordan from Indonesia out there at the featherweight. Of course, you got Ponce de Leon. You got a lot of good fights at 126 pounds for him. The future looks good. He looks like he makes weight rather easy. Like I said, he's a bright spot in the world of boxing. There's a lot of upside with this guy, being of the fact that he was one of the best amateurs in the United States, compiling an amateur record of I think it was like 163-10. He has a big time amateur pedigree, and I would like to see what's next from Gary Russell Jr. Take your time, Gary Russell. Don't let the media pressure you into big fights. They have a habit of doing that, especially when you're mobbing the competition, knocking them out. There have been countless stories of guys who came through the game doing the same exact thing, and because of pressure from the so-called pundits and media members, they were rushed into big fights, and their career didn't happen to go as well as it possibly could have. Whether they were shot early off in their life from being in big fights and getting hit with heavy shots where they weren't able to recover and be the same fighter they were accustomed to being, or maybe like suffered injury where they couldn't continue their career, like David Reed or whatnot. So guys that don't know who David Reed is, he was a very good amateur. I think he was a gold medalist. I forget, but uh, he was being rushed. Won a world title before he even reached 20 fights. Got in the ring with Tito, got blasted, and I think it was a fight after that. He fought in the ring with a really tough Mexican. Put more damage on that lazy eye he had, and the doctor saw fit for him to call it a career, because if you can't see, you're basically a duck, sitting duck, and the game plan is always going to be centered around whatever your vulnerabilities are. And if you can't see, then you can't see punches from that side. So you're basically going to be open for big shots all night long, from 1 to 12, however long it lasts. So David Reed's career didn't go like I'm sure he thought it would have been. And he too was a guy who had fast hands, and he had big punching power too. So take your time. Don't rush this guy. He's a really good fighter. Um, he has everything he needs to prosper in this game. I would like to see him in the ring with a guy who has a very stiff, solid jab, and see how he reacts to a guy who can place that jab on him. So far, nobody's able to place that jab on him. He has good head movement. He slips the jab. He counters off the jab, whether he's going to the head or going to the body. So far, he's been seeing those openings and taking full advantage of it. Can't hate on it. You can only give props for it and wait for future fights with this guy. But as far as what he did last night, he closed the show in impressive fashion, knocked the guy out, and we'll see what the future holds for Mr. Gary Russell Jr. Good fight for him. That's all I got for you. Let me know if there are some fights you think he should be in next. Leave it in the comment section or make a video. Till then, it's your boy Ash. Holla at you, deuce.